Alright, so in this video I wanted to cover top 10 car-inspired sneakers. I thought this would be a fun video for you guys to check out, and if you guys enjoy the content, please drop a like. Also suggest other top 10 videos that you think would be fun as well for me to create. So this is going to be the top 10 car-inspired sneakers, not the ones that are sponsored necessarily by the brands themselves. So as an example, the Adidas Porsche collection, the K-Swiss McLaren collection and the APL collection, the Ferrari and Puma collection, or the Lamborghini Mizuno collection. All great collections, but those ones are actually made with the official companies. And in this list, I'm going to be covering the top 10 pairs of sneakers that are inspired from instead. First on the list goes to a pair of Adidas called the Kobe. This one was inspired by the Audi TT Roadster back in 1999. This came out, and the MSRP on the Audi TT Roadster was $32,000. Current market value in 2024 is about $8,000 to $10,000, so dropped quite a bit. However, the Kobe model from Adidas retailed for $125 back in 2000 and had a total of 6 different colorways that released in this model. In 2001, Adidas launched the Kobe 2, but it was not one that resonated with fans, and Kobe went back to wearing the first version and actually won 3 championships wearing the Kobe model. Now you can currently buy the Kobe model under Adidas website right now. I'll link it in the description. It's not called the Kobe anymore. Obviously the copyright is to Nike now. It is called the Crazy One, but they have some really nice Lakers inspired colorways on there, and some of them are on sale for actually quite a bit off of retail. Next car inspired sneaker on the list is the Air Jordan 17 model. This one is inspired after the Aston Martin from 2002, known as the DB7. Now the DB7 was in production from 1994 to 2004, but when the Air Jordan 17 came out in around 2002, the DB7 V12 GT was the one that was available, and I believe the retail was around $100,000. However, the current market price on the Aston Martin is around $24,000 now. Kind of crazy how much they drop in value. The Air Jordan 17 was released February 9th, 2002, and was the highest retailed price for a pair of Jordans at that time at $200. The first colorway was actually the Washington Wizard blue colorway, since Michael Jordan ended up playing on the Wizards. The Air Jordan 17 also came with a nice carrying case as well as a CD with product information. It also came with a very eye-catching shroud as well, but it's definitely one of those pairs of sneakers that was hard to put on if you had wider feet. The parallel to the Aston Martin was with the fine details, the smooth lines that flow like a jazz solo, and the long Air Jordan history of innovation and style. That's what they said. Anyways, I don't really see the resemblance to an Aston Martin in this specific one, but it was credited to be inspired by the Aston Martin. Now, taking it back to Kobe and taking it back to the Aston Martin, next on the list we have the Aston Martin pack featuring the Kobe 5 and a pair of the Nike Hyperdunks. This pack released in 2010 for a retail price of around $300, and the pack released as celebration to Kobe's viral video from 2 years previous where Kobe Bryant appeared to be jumping over an Aston Martin DB9 Volante. Now I say appears to be leaping over the car, but actually I guess he didn't jump over the car. It was just like a gimmick. Anyways, the DB9 was a successor to the DB7 model that I mentioned earlier and was in production from 2004 to 2016, so had quite a nice run. The Volante is the convertible version, however, that has an increased horsepower to 470. So as for the Nike pack, $300 and you got the Kobe 5 as I mentioned and the Nike Hyperdunk with the crazy theme based on the Aston Martin car. The colorways were nice and they had a nice luxurious feel to them. The crazy thing is the Volante was about $200,000 in 2010, but the current price is about $55,000. And the crazier thing to think about is if you cop 10 different packs of the Nike Kobe Aston Martin sneakers for about $3,000, roughly $300 each back in 2010, you could actually buy a used 2010 Aston Martin DB Volante today, since they're around $50,000 14 years later. The Kobe pack was valued at $300 and is currently around $5,000 right now per pack, which is nuts. And the Volante again went from $200,000 down to about $50,000. So yeah, pretty crazy. Next on the list, we have the Air Jordan 6, which is themed after the Porsche 964, I believe. I wish I could ask Tinker about this one specifically because there is rumors on lots of different versions of the Porsche that it's themed after. Also, there's a lot of different versions of the 964 even. I mean, they have tons and tons of different versions since the 964 is a model of the 911 that was released between 89 and 94. And so for that, I don't know the actual retail of the 964. I believe it was around $60,000 back in the day in 91. And the 964 model was actually featured in the movies Bad Boys. Michael Bay actually used his personal Porsche for the movie, movie, but he sold it to a friend for $60K. The craziest thing is today's market value on this Porsche specifically is around $1.3 million, which is nuts. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of the 964, but they have a ton of different models, roughly ranging from $50,000 up to $1 million plus, depending on which one. So pretty crazy. However, the tie-in back to the Air Jordan 6, obviously you could tell from the spoiler of the shoe as well as kind of the fun sleek design of the midsole. I think the spoiler on the 6s is definitely something that draw your eyes to the Air Jordan 6 model though. You also have nice touches of neoprene in the sleeve as well as a translucent rubber outsole and a visible air unit. Again, it released in 1991 in 5 different colorways originally, and Michael Jordan actually won a championship in the Air Jordan 6. Next on the list, we have the Nike Dunk SE 6.0, which is inspired by the time-traveling DeLorean, the DMC-12. This was featured in the Back to the Future movies back in '85. Now, this one I included on the list, even though it is co-branded with DeLorean, which is kind of a nice detail on these. Back in 1981, the DeLorean MSRP was about $25,000. Currently, if you're looking to get an older DeLorean, you're looking at around $60,000. Fun fact, they actually had a rare gold version of the DeLorean as well. Don't know all the fabled history about it, but found an image of it online and it looks pretty crazy. The DeLorean version of the Nike 6.0 Dunk SE was released back in 2010 on Black Friday. It had a no-so matte silver upper, which obviously references the stainless steel exterior of the DeLorean. For those familiar with the DeLorean, you guys know the gull wings or the seagull wings of the doors, because when the doors open outwards, it kind of resembles a seagull. Those designs are actually on the eye-stay of the shoes, as well as if you were lucky enough to get the limited edition boxes that have the gull wing opening. They also had a tricolor outsole that mimics the color blocking of the DeLorean that looks really nice as well. And it does have a Belfast stamp on the tongue, honoring the Irish factory that they were actually originally manufactured in. The retail was $130 on this gem, and I actually got a pair of them for $65 back in the day. I posted a video on it many, many years ago. Pretty crazy. The current market value of the DeLorean Dunks are around $1,500, which is crazy to me. I did not know they crept up that much. So next up, we have the Nike Air Zoom Generation that was supposed to be rumored after the Hummer H2 back in 2003. 18-year-old LeBron signed with Nike in 2003 for a 7-year, $90 million contract. The Hummer H2 actually cost around $50K back in the day, but now you can get them for around $15,000. And if you guys don't remember the controversy around this, LeBron James was actually a senior in high school and he got gifted a Hummer H2, and so he was under investigation back in the day because you were not allowed to get monetary gifts if you were a student athlete. Anyways, the Air Zoom Generation was actually LeBron's first signature sneaker model, originally released for $110 back in 2003, and it's funny that his first sneaker model was not actually called the LeBron 1, and there is no Air Zoom Generation 2. They actually went right into the second version calling it the LeBron 2. Here's where the crazy twist comes in though. Tinker Hatfield, Eric Avar, and Aaron Cooper actually teamed up to design this pair of sneakers for LeBron, and Aaron Cooper took to Twitter and said that the shoe was actually not designed after the Hummer, not even close. He said you could see 2 small details from the H2 after the majority of the shoe was already designed. So no, the Nike stripe was not designed to look like the Hummer's wheel well. So it sounds like some of the design efforts were added after the fact, not fully designed after the H2, which makes sense. The Zoom Generation featured the external heel counter as well as the Nike Sphere liner. Current price on the Air Zoom Generations are about $190. You can actually get some of them on sale, including one of the original colorways on Nike's website. I'll link it in the description of the video, but pretty nice that they actually retroed these. Next on the list, we have Ishod Wair and the Magnus Walker Nike SB Dunk Highs. These things are crazy looking, and the theme of these shoes are actually after Magnus's love of the Porsche 911, and so the shoes feature a bunch of different artwork basically from his Porsche collection that he has. These Dunks released in June of 2021 for $120. Current market price is around $400. The details of the Nike Dunk High are really nice though. You can see they have a worn aged effect with a little bit of cracked leather as well as a raw edge collar, and it also has a nice plush flannel interior, which is actually true to the theme of a couple of his cars. If you think vintage 70s Porsches, like this is a nice representation of exactly what he was going for. This is one of those unassuming collaborations though that I think is just super rad. Ishod became a fan of Porsches, it looks like, and then Magnus was the perfect person to do a collaboration with. And kudos to Nike SB for actually creating such a cool pair of sneakers that is very closely tied to Magnus's work. And if you haven't seen his 2012 Urban Outlaw movie, you should go check that out. Next on the countdown, we have the Nike LeBron 11 Elite, which is actually themed after the Lamborghini Egoista from 2013. Funny that Egoista is actually Italian for selfish. In 2013, part of the 50th year anniversary celebration for Lamborghini, they revealed the Egoista, which is a car that is very unique and it's actually one of one in existence. It was built to be a solo driver with center steering that is very similar to a jet fighter. This car is actually estimated to be worth $117 million, which is absolutely nuts, but it's definitely not a car that you'll be seeing on the streets because it is, again, that one of one. Now, the Nike LeBron 11 Elite released for $275, which was a lot of money for that pair of sneakers back when they dropped in 2013 as well. The current market on the LeBron 11 is around $400. This shoe actually featured Lunarlon midsole and full-length bottom-loaded Zoom Air. And the Nike LeBron 11 Elite had a couple different colorways as well, as like an Iron Man-esque colorway that I really liked. Actually, I have that one as well. The Nike LeBron 11 really didn't get that much love from the consumer market, as well as the 11 Elites. But I really liked the model. It was one of my favorite looking shoes. It looked very crazy, really stylish, and I like the Lamborghini inspiration on this specific colorway. I think that they did a really nice job mirroring the one-of-one Lamborghini. So next on the list, we have the Nike SB Dunk Low Club 58 Golf, which was released in March 2021 and retailed for $100. Now, there was also a counterpart to this that was released in the US called the Pink Pigs. This one was actually themed after the Porsche 91720. I love that the nicknames were also Big Bertha and even Truffle Hunter. I think that that's pretty funny. The Pink Pig car was actually pretty rad. The sneakers are just more or less just a pink suede. There's not as many details, and I think that the Club 58 is the one that I'm going to be focusing more on. Now, the golf colorway of the Nike Dunks is actually a nod to the Porsche 917, not the Ford GT40, which is probably the most famous color blocking of the golf colorways. But one of the designers of the shoes actually called out Porsche 917 as being the one that was inspiring. Obviously, the colors of the shoes are the same on both of the models. Also, the 58 is a nod to the We Club, which is supposed to be a mix of shop owners and the Nike employees, I guess. I don't honestly know the fabled history of what the We Club is. However, they did have a pair of Blazers from 2018 that also released. I think this is one of the cleanest colorways of the Nike Dunk to release in modern times. Definitely one that's on my bucket list. The Pink Pigs are nice as well. The materials look really nice on those ones. But the 58 Golfs look crazy with the patch with the number 58 embroidered near the heel, and the two-tone sole with the white and orange outsole, and the upper in the blue chill suede. It's just a really beautiful looking shoe. If you guys like this video, drop a like on the video. It means a lot to me. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. And then if you guys have other suggestions for top 5, top 10 videos, leave a comment. Let me know. I'm also interested in doing those. The last entry on this list would go to the Air Jordan 14, which is obviously themed after a Ferrari, specifically the Ferrari 550 Maranello. And this model was actually a front engine V12 supercar. The current market, from what I found, is around $150,000 on the Maranello, so it definitely held some nice value. Now, the Air Jordan 14 was worn by Michael Jordan in what would be known as his last shot Chicago Bulls versus Utah Jazz back in '98. The shoe was designed by Tinker Hatfield and they released in '98 for about $150. And the Ferrari theme is very apparent on this pair of sneakers, specifically the iconic badge, the midsole vents, and the sleek design. And also they had 14 total logos on the Air Jordan 14s. They had 7 per shoe. The original colorway of the white cherry red was my favorite, the one that I had back in the day. They also released a red suede colorway that was really nice. And originally, if I remember correctly, the Air Jordan 14s released, but they did actually have lead paint supposedly in the midsole, so they actually got recalled. Currently, there's no crazy resale demand on the Air Jordan 14. It's kind of like the last of the great Air Jordans from what a lot of people say, because it's the last one that he wore. Anyways, hopefully you guys found this countdown somewhat informative and enjoyable, and thank you guys for stopping by and watching. Hopefully you'll see you back on the channel for some more content.